All right. Hello, hello. Tatyana Arrington for Where is the Buzz TV, and I'm here with the wonderful Autumn Best. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm super excited to talk to you today.
Me
I want to jump right in. Talk to me a little bit about how kind of the lead up to the show 4400. Like, did you start as a theater kid? Is this your first time acting? Tell us a little bit about your acting journey.
Yeah, so I did actually start as a theater kid, pretty hardcore.
I love
And I
it.
started just doing like community theater in the town that I grew up and all that good stuff. And I did like one regional theater production when I was younger. And then I did a pre-Broadway workshop in 2019, and that's when I actually met my manager, who then like introduced me to my agents and stuff like that. So that's kind of actually how I got into the television world, was through a theater gig, and then like just meeting more and more people. And yeah, so that's kind of how I got where I am, is through theater.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I'm from Southern Utah, specifically like close to Vegas. So yeah.
Okay, okay. So what was that like? Is there a lot of theater in that area, or were you to get to a bigger city?
There's theater. It's a pretty like narrow minded idea of theater, I feel like, in this community, just because of the culture here. People don't really like to, think outside the box very often. There's kind of like the same
Right.
8 shows on rotation. So being able to leave was really great. And I actually got into a theater school at NYU, which is where I was going to go to college before I booked this
Wow.
show. Yeah, because I was way big into my senior year of high school. I wrote an original play and directed it and stuff like that. And
Wait,
so I
wait,
was,
senior year. How old are you?
yeah, I'm 19.
No way. You were gonna
Yeah,
have a long career, girl, okay? Because
thank
you
you.
you look very young.
I know. I look 12 years old, which is good for me.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing. So you got into Tisch School of the Arts, NYU?
Yeah, I got into
Wow.
the new school on Broadway right before I booked this show. So my whole plan was to not, leave my small town Utah and go to the big city and work on theater there and kind of keep pursuing that track. But by the time it was time to go and like graduation was approaching, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to study theater anymore. Like, I love the auditions that I'm doing. I kind of just want to focus on film acting, especially
Mhm.
with how the industry is with theater right now. I didn't know if that was really like where I wanted to be in my career at that point.
Right.
And then just like randomly, I booked this show right before I was supposed to move, and then just changed my entire path. And I'm really grateful for that, because I really like where I'm headed right now, and I'm glad that I get to do film and learn a whole new side of the industry that I like had absolutely zero experience in before, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
amazing. So you, what were you doing before you got this audition for the show? Were you just kind of focusing on graduating and then that was going to NYU was going to be your plan and that was what you were going to do? Like, were you working or just doing theater? What was kind of your life before you got the audition? And then how did you feel when you
Yeah.
got the audition?
Yeah. I had been doing self tapes for about a year and a half before I got the 4400 audition, specifically
Mhm.
like in my email. And I think I signed because I had my manager for about a year and a half, 2-ish years, and then signed with my agents about a year into working with her. So I was really heavily focusing on, pilot season and a million auditions a week. And on top of that,
Right.
going to school. And because I live in Utah, we were in person for school all year. We
Mhm.
had to like wear masks and stuff, but I was still like actively going to school every day. And I was on student council. So I was like doing a bunch of stuff for my school, and just like really heavily focusing on grades and stuff like that, just because school is really important to me. And so and I also did have a job. I worked in a mall. I worked at a shoe store.
Wow. And this was all like during the pandemic as well.
Yeah,
Insane. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
It was crazy. And I didn't want to quit my job because I had been planning to like transfer to a store in New York so that I would have a job to work while I was in college. So yeah, it was just, I would leave school. Oh, and I was writing and directing this original play that I worked on my senior year as well. So I would like go to school and then get off school and go to work and then get off work and go home and write my play and then get done writing my play and do like 3 self-tapes. And so it was like very, very hectic and busy. So graduation
but in a
could
way,
not come sooner.
yeah, but in a way you were kind of preparing of the life of, an actor who works in film and TV, those schedules and filming all those self-tapes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So that is insane. So talk to me about the show 4400. Did you know that you were going to be a part of a reboot? Had you seen the original? Had you heard of it? What kind of did you know and didn't know about the show?
Yeah, I absolutely had no idea what it was. No clue. It's a little bit, it's a little bit too old for my time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But I looked it up and I was like, this seems cool. But also when you're doing, 4 or 5 auditions a week, that you don't usually have time to really like soak up the material before doing it. You kind of just have to like focus on the emotional prep and do the audition and So then when I got a call back, I was like, oh, I should probably dig a little bit more into this series and try to figure out what the style will be, figure out all that stuff. Cause I'm spoiler alert, my character has superpowers, but that's already been revealed. Right. I had no idea that it was like a show that had superpowers or anything like that. And the way that they wrote the audition sides kind of implied that I had superpowers, but didn't really like explicitly say that. So then after I watched the pilot before my callback, I was like, oh, wait, I'm supposed to be doing magic in this scene. I get it now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was really fun. And then, just watching, I only watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes before doing all of my like callbacks and screen tests and everything like that. And then after I booked the show, I actually watched the whole thing while we were filming I think I finished while we were filming like episode 6 or something. It took me a long time to get through it because it takes me a long time to get through shows, but
no, I completely get that, especially somebody as busy as you. So, I'm sure it takes time. So I think the series is coming back sometime this month or sometime this year, definitely. What can fans expect in this new season?
Yeah, we're coming back on the 17th, which is Monday.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, yes. Super soon.
Awesome.
And fans can definitely expect to see more Mildred if that's what you're into. My character definitely picks up towards the end, and you actually do get to see my flashback and like where my character came from. And I think just with the show in general, you'll see a lot more sci-fi because I think in the first half of the season we really focused on establishing characters and relationships and kind of world building, obviously. And then as we get into the second half of the season, you see a lot more like action and sci-fi and that kind of side of the series. So that's really exciting to me.
Yeah, I know. No, it definitely, like, superhero fans, superpowers fans, sci-fi fans, they'll all be waiting to see kind of how the story unfolds and what were some of those key parts that they were missing. So that'll be really cool as well. Besides the series, is there anything else that you're working on right now or anything that you hope to do as this new year is not approaching, it's here?
Yeah. I'm writing a movie right now with my friend who is a writer for CBS. And so that's really fun. I mean, if it gets made or not, I don't really care. I just really like working on it because I love writing and that's a big passion of mine. So I think just as my career progresses, if I can be on the creative side of the things that I'm a part of, that's something that I really, really want to do. So that's kind of what I want to focus on this year is like practicing and like getting more in the mindset of being a creative and not just an actor. So that's really exciting. And then obviously just focusing on auditions and seeing what else comes along. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on.
Future screenwriter on our hands. I love it. Hopefully. Well, because you're writing scripts and you mentioned that you were writing a play and things like that. So I feel like you have good taste in what makes a good show. So what are some of your favorite TV shows that you like that are out right now,
Yeah,
besides 4400, obviously.
obviously, besides our show, which is the best. I really love Pose. Pose is my favorite show that I've watched this year on FX.
Yes,
And
I love
it's
Pose.
incredible. The writing, the characters, everything about it is just lovely. I think Pose, and then I just finished Succession also. I think
I also love that show. So
the
good.
writing and the world building and the acting is so good in
Yeah.
Succession. And then my other one is probably Sex Education, just because I think it's kind of just such a polished show all around with, the characters. And I think that they tend to have really good messages and everything like that. So I
Yeah.
would say those are like my top three that are going right now.
Okay. I haven't seen that one yet, but it has been recommended to me, so I should probably check it out
Yeah, it's
at some
really, really
point.
good. And the
Throughout your
disability representation in that show is really great too. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's also what I wanted to ask you about as well. I know that you have a limb difference and it's not who
Mm-hmm.
you are, but it is a part of who you are. And you
Yeah.
have spoken out about it and said to people that disability is not a horror prop. It's not, something to be insensitive about. Talk to me a little bit about that. And have you found that that's made your journey through acting more difficult, or has it not been a factor at all? What has been your personal experience?
Yeah, I don't know if I mean yes, I think it has made my overall journey a little bit more difficult, but only in the way that in the past 2+ years that I've been doing auditions, I've only had two breakdowns that are for disabled characters, which is, kind of eye-opening to be on
Yeah,
the other side of that and realize like, oh, no one is actually writing these stories. And
right.
that's disappointing, obviously. But I obviously wouldn't be working on this show if disability wasn't a part of who I am. So I think it's definitely made me, it makes me unique. It makes me who I am. It makes me stand out and be able to tell a different kind of story, which I think is really beautiful. And so I think it's kind of a double-edged sword of, I love that I get to tell different kinds of stories and be a representation to people, and just be who I am. And I know that if someone hires me, it's because they like people
Like
with
who you
disabilities.
are. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really reassuring and good to know. And hopefully the industry, in the past 2 years, the industry has taken big strides in better directions for disabled representation in film and TV. So I think being able to be on this side of it and watch it grow and progress and develop is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, yeah, like I said, it's just a double-edged sword. Sometimes, there are days where I'm like, it would be awesome if I could get a breakdown for a disabled person again, because who knows when I'll get another one. And then there are
Right.
other days where I'm like, this is so cool. I get to help pioneer this new wave of actors who are being welcomed into the industry for the first time. So yeah, that's kind of both.
Yeah, and you said that so eloquently and so perfectly. Do you ever get people who reach out to you and kind of, are dealing with the same struggles or anything like that? And if so, how does that make you feel to be sort of that role model, that pioneer?
Yeah, I get messages all the time from people being like, I have a hand like yours. I have, I'm in a wheelchair, whatever. It doesn't really matter what kind of disability it is, because we're all so connected.
Right.
But my DMs and comments are always just full of people like that. And every time I get one, it just makes my whole day. It makes me so happy. And I had a
Yeah.
YouTube channel for a long time where I talked about my disability as well. And so kind of a couple of years ago, I was, hearing from people the same kind of feedback, but to be able to be back in a place where I kind of connect with other disabled people online is just so refreshing, because I don't know a lot of disabled people just in my real life.
Right.
I know a few, but it's, we're a little bit spread out in that way.
Yeah.
And so being able to connect with people over the internet that I wouldn't have met otherwise is so cool, and really just helps me feel less alone in who I am, but also just makes me really proud of what I'm doing and that I, get to be doing this.
Exactly. And I bet you
Yeah.
they just are so, like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it,
Yeah.
type of thing, which is so amazing. So you've definitely been a role model for young people, for young women, for disabled people. Who would you say are some of your role models, some of your inspirations?
Ooh, some of my inspirations. I think, Ali Stroker obviously is just an amazing, beautiful person. She is the only wheelchair user to ever win a Tony
Hmm.
Award for her role in Oklahoma. And I was actually in New York City when she won that Tony. And so I was like at a cafe watching the TV, watching her like win the award. And that
Hmm.
totally changed my life. Because that's kind of also the moment when I realized, like, oh, I actually didn't realize that I have never seen another disabled person on a stage before.
Right.
So that was very eye-opening. So she's a huge inspiration of mine. And then I think also I would say like MJ Rodriguez on Pose,
She just
obviously.
won the Emmy too.
Yeah,
So,
she is such an inspiration to me. She is just such a lovely, kind, beautiful person and so freaking talented, which is why she's, sweeping at the awards and just
mhm.
being incredible. And I think that like trans actors and disabled actors have a lot of intersectionality in the way that our bodies are often excluded from, representation and also portrayed in harmful ways that are kind of similar. And so every time I see a trans actor get a win, it feels, like we're all part of kind of a similar
Right.
community as well. So yeah, I would say those two are the first ones that come to mind. But yeah.
And you haven't got to meet either of them yet?
No, someday.
Someday, someday. And I imagine those are probably two people that you would love to work with. Who are some other people that you would love to work with in the industry
Ooh,
someday?
interesting. I think I am such a fan of Rachel Zegler right now. I think that she's incredible. And I also just
Yeah.
think she's a great actress and seems so lovely. So I would love to meet her and work on something with her. And I think behind the scenes, I don't know. I just want to work with anybody that I can, like anyone
Right.
ever. Like I just want to work with more people. I
Yeah.
I just love to collaborate and, get feedback from people that I look up to mostly. I think if I could work with some older, more seasoned actors, I that's my
Hmm.
favorite. That's my favorite thing about being on 4400 is being able to work with some older, more experienced people and hear what they have to say. And so I think I would love to work with just anybody who's been doing this a really long time because I always learn more about my craft when I do that.
Yeah. What is some of the advice or uh, lessons that you've received, whether it be from like your 4,400 cast members or whoever, about kind of navigating this industry?
Yeah, I think Brittany, she plays oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the character name now. She plays Shanice. What was wrong with me? Brittany, she plays Shanice, and she is just the most lovely person to work with ever. She is always so prepared, always so professional, always just the kindest person on set. And working with her, she is always has the mindset of like I'm just going with the flow. Like I'm just, seeing where life takes me and, going where the universe wants me to go. And I think that that kind of mindset is something that I've struggled with a lot. Is I always feel like I have to have a plan and I always have to know exactly what I'm doing all the time. But Brittany
Same.
is the first person to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just figuring it out and we're all figuring it out together. And I think having someone like that, working so closely with someone like that has been so, so good for me. So yeah, I would say she's probably taught me the most lessons as an actor and also just a person since working on this show.
I love that. Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome. Okay, so I just want to ask you a quick few like rapid fire questions
Yes.
just to have a little fun, and then I'm gonna let you go.
Cool.
So I heard that you love to cook. What is one of your favorite meals to make?
I love to cook. I love to make like peanut sauce udon noodles, like Thai peanut udon noodles. Yeah,
Oh, that sounds good. And you make it from
fire.
scratch?
I get these like yeah, well, I get these meal boxes that come with recipes and stuff at my apartment in Chicago, and so I'll like make the recipes and they give me the ingredients. But yeah, I like make the whole thing myself.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. What is another show that you would love to be on?
I would love to be on, yeah, probably Sex Education. Love that show. Yeah.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. Do you have a celebrity crush?
A celebrity crush? Um, Not that I can think of, honestly.
No, that's good. That's good. Okay, no worries, no worries. Who is one of your favorite artists that you love to listen to?
My favorite artist, I would say, well, Lord is like my top. I love Lord so much. And then Phoebe Bridgers. I would say Lord and Phoebe Bridgers are probably.
Okay,
Or I also
nice.
love Janelle Monáe too. I would say those three are the best.
That's great. Yes. Lord is so like I wish she would put out music more.
Me
Like
too.
I wish she would feed the streets a little more, but she's fantastic. So it probably
I
takes a
know.
really long time to process that. Uh,
Yeah.
who is always like joking around or like having a good time on set?
Definitely Kayla, I think. Kayla and I are set besties. And I would say either Kayla or Amar, honestly. Both of them, when I'm working with Amar or Kayla, I literally can't get through any of my scenes. We're always laughing.
I love it. And my last question, where is somewhere that you would love to travel someday? Dream
I would
destination.
love to go to Greece. That's where I would like to go next.
Same. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, so beautiful. Oh, and
Anywhere with a
then
beautiful beach. I love
yeah,
beaches. Yeah.
same. Like Greece, Fiji, the Maldives, like those are all on
Exactly.
my list.
Exactly.
And then I lied. So one last question. If people haven't already seen 4400, why should they check it out right here, right now?
They should check it out right now because it is not what you'd expect and it's so much fun and you're gonna love it. It's literally for everybody. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you so much for your time today. You are amazing. You're so well spoken. You're so confident. Like you're
Thank
such a
you.
great role model. And I'm so excited to see what you do in the future. Like it's literally only up from here.
Thank you so much. It was so nice
Thank
to meet
you.
you.
You too. You too. I hope we talk again soon.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Where is the buzz you said was mine?